Hi, and welcome to another edition of Community Talk. I'm Dan Scheidel, the Executive Director of United Way of Enid, Northwest Oklahoma. And today my guest is Joey Mybergen, who is the CEO of the Johnston Seed Company right here in Enid, Oklahoma. Joey, we just are so happy that you're here today. Thanks for being here.
Well, I appreciate having me,
You
Dan.
bet.
My
you bet.
pleasure.
Yeah, and not to mention, I should mention that Joey and his lovely wife, Leslie, are the co-chairs of the United Way 2018-2019 campaign, and so we'll be talking a little bit about that. But before we get into
How many times did I say no before I said yes?
I don't remember you saying that, but
It was a
I'll
lot.
have to go back and ask Lynn. But anyway, so
my pleasure.
Thank you, Joey. Well, let's talk a little bit about you, where you're from, talk about your family. I mean, you guys, you have a really rich legacy and family history right here in Garfield County and Enid.
Born and raised in Enid, product of Monroe Elementary School, Emerson Junior High, Enid High School, and Oklahoma State University. Graduated from there in 2004 and did a few months tour of duty at Johnston's Port 33 before I came back home.
Port 33, what
East of Tulsa.
Oh,
It
okay.
was the grain company's port facilities located there east of Tulsa, where the Verdigris River.
Oh, is that for the Catoosa, the Port of Catoosa?
Downriver from Catoosa.
Okay.
13 miles. So where 412 intersected the river,
Yeah.
that was our
That's your port,
family's
huh?
port. That's where I started my career with Johnston's.
Wow, that is pretty interesting.
Well, official career post-college. I had worked numerous jobs growing up because I knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to come back home. I wanted to be a part of the community. And one of the things that I really felt important, knowing that I was going to be doing what I was going to be doing, and the fact that I was going to have a lot of eyes on me, I did not want to tell somebody to do something that I hadn't done or wasn't willing to do myself.
That's great. That's great. You know, that's the kind of philosophy I have too, because I grew up through the television industry business in public television, and I did everything from lugging equipment to sweeping floors to all the way up to management, and it's a good way of really knowing the ins and out of your organization.
Oh,
your
yeah,
business,
and
right?
I loved it, and I learned a lot, and that's how you learn the business.
Yeah.
But came back to Enid in the early fall, mid-fall of 2004, met my wife, and we were married in 2007 and have 3 kids, boy, girl, boy, 7, 6, and our youngest will be 3 this July.
That's
so
great.
we've got a busy household.
Yeah, you guys are busy. I know you are. And so thank you so much for, again, Joey, all you do. And you are a part of a legacy family in our community that does so much, have done so much over the years, and you continue to do that. Tell us a little bit about your role as CEO, and as you said, you've worked your way up. So you really, the great thing about that is that you understand where people are at in those positions as they work for you and work in your company.
And that's so important to know that, because no role is less or more important than any other. But started the career with the ports, went to the grain company, in a leadership role at the grain company, led the grain company, the ports, and very close to the seed company in a divestiture of those operating businesses. But we ended up retaining ownership of Johnston Seed Company and became the president and CEO of that in February of 2016. So it's been a little over 2 years now. Very, very glad to be there. A lot of changes have taken place there. It's been a lot of work, and been very grateful and very fortunate to have the leadership team and the team of people that we have there right now, because it's made all the change a little bit easier, even though change is difficult.
Right.
I mean, it kind of feels like hitting yourself in the hand with a hammer occasionally, and I think our employees feel that way sometimes too. But it's necessary. I mean, my grandpa's uncle Dale Johnston used to say, "If you're green, you're growing, and if you're ripe, you're rotten."
Oh.
And we're staying green.
That's good.
We're moving
That's
and shaking and changing things up and providing some focus and really falling back on our culture and creating a foundation that will sustain us through our next evolution of growth and the next 125 years in business. Seed company, seed sales were the first operating functions of the Johnston Enterprises families.
And when did that get started?
1893,
Wow,
right on the heels of the
1893.
land run.
Wow.
And you know, a lot of people ask me what has made Johnston Seed Company and Johnston so great, and been around for 125 years, and you can't overthink it. The values of the settlers that came and pioneered Oklahoma are the values that still exist within the employees of Johnston Seed Company.
Right.
A pioneering spirit and grit.
That's kind of a reflection on our community.
It is.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and that's why I love it here so much. And I've been here a year and almost a half now, and I feel like I've been here for about 5, Joey. And the people here have just been just great. They're like family, and they care about each other, and that's what's great about
They do.
working with United Way and working with people in our community. So, thank you. And speaking of the United Way, let's jump into that. I mean, we could spend all of our time talking about Johnston Seed because there is so much that you guys do, and I know that you've got big plans for the company and looking at international markets and everything else, and we'll just have to come back and do it again.
All right, sounds good.
All right, well, let's talk about United Way and why you and Leslie got involved, and what makes this personal or important to you and your family.
It's the right thing to do. Simple, the end.
Wow.
Been very fortunate growing up, and that's one of the things that I'm so grateful of being in the position I am at Johnston Seed Company. Is my mission is to provide a job for somebody, and because I've always had one. I've never had to worry about what it's like not having a job. Mm-hmm. So that's what I want to do. But to take that philanthropy a step further, I mean, it just segues right into what the United Way does, how it impacts the community, how it makes fundraising efforts for all of our partner agencies so much more efficient.
Yeah.
And such better organized in that effort to get the most dollars that we can and most efficiently use those dollars for the better of Northwest Oklahoma.
Right, and that's a good point, and that was very succinct and to the point. That is exactly what the United Way does with the funds that we raise. And then, you know, as the diverse board that we have and the feedback that we get from a community and all of our partner agencies, 16 of them now, you know, we're able to identify and facilitate, prioritize really what needs to be addressed, I think, in our community the most.
Really like how the funds get allocated to. Very, very involved with the board of directors. They have the committee meetings that evaluate the partner agencies,
Right.
see where the need is, prioritize it to way that, you know, the persons that are
Running those
participating
shops, yeah.
in the United Way, they get to decide where that money is needed.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that. Talk about the goals this year and some of the plans that you have for the campaign.
Big goal.
Yeah.
We're going to raise over $700,000. I've got some really unique ideas. You and I have talked a lot about it, but you know, it's not just United Way of Enid.
Right.
It's United Way of Northwest Oklahoma.
Right. Yep.
So expansion. I mean, yeah, the partner agencies are located in Enid and people have to come to Enid, but I want to do a better job of involving those other communities outside of Enid that utilize those partner agencies and involve those in our community too.
Yeah, well, not only for fundraising, I'd like to also look at maybe some of the other nonprofits in these other communities that we serve, and maybe see if we can help them in their communities.
There could be
as well.
priorities there that they need.
I think you're right. Well, we've got a golf tournament coming up on July 16th. That's our next biggest thing, I guess.
I know that's going to be. I had so much fun last year, and I can't go this year. I'm going to be in New Mexico. My mom's 60th
Your mother's
birthday
60th
party.
birthday. Oh my God.
Well, we're going to have a big shindig for her.
Wish her well for us and the best.
We will.
I mean,
but it'll be fun. Got some neat events, some neat prizes as always.
Yeah.
Mitch Dobbins.
Mitch Dobbins,
professional long drive
pro. Yeah. That's going to be fun.
He's going to be there hitting drives for the teams on par fives out there.
Yep.
Of course, at a cost.
Oh, yeah. A little
minimal donation.
A little bit of money, because, I mean, it all goes for a good cause. And again, it just goes right back into the community. The money that we raise stays right here. That's the great thing about United Way. That's the other thing. I mean, all the money we raise stays right here. 98.5% of it, yes, we do have to send some to United Way worldwide, but the majority of it stays right here, and it goes to work for the people that we say that we're serving. So, But we got Traeger Grill we're raffling off.
Yeah,
got a
and the Yeti cooler.
Yeah. And
Thunder basketball.
Joey just secured a Thunder basketball autographed by all the team members.
All the team members. So
Yes.
that'll be a kind of
Thank you again,
a unique
Joey,
new
for
event
getting
or a
that.
new item this year.
Right. And oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What about the prize for
Oh.
the 5K?
Oh, well, we've got a 5K foam fun run
Yeah.
that Lynn Ballard, our president of the board, had come up with as an idea for our public campaign kickoff, and that will be on first Friday in September. I hope you're going to be there with the family.
Oh yeah, I'm going to run.
Because it's going to be a fun run, yeah.
Yeah.
And Johnson Seed Company is donating the first place prize for the winner across the line first. You want to
That's
tell them what
right.
that is?
So whoever wins the fun run, the 5K, best time, can get 2 sweet tickets and a parking pass to the Oklahoma State University Texas Tech football game.
That's going to be
So
great.
I think that's our first conference opener. So that'll be a fun football game in
and I think
Stillwater.
was that on the 23rd of September, I think? I think it was.
I think it's the next
is it?
second home game after the fun run.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So it's a couple weeks after the fun run.
Yep.
So it's going to be fun. We're going to have all kinds of, fun things to give away. We'll have registration online. We hope to raise about 10 to 30,000. I know Lynn wants to raise about 30,000, but there's always
That's
expenses.
achievable.
Yeah, I think so. I think we can do it. So and then we have our Pillars event coming up in August. I think August 21st. So that is any donor during the year that gives $500 or more. We invite out, we talk to them. We have a dinner, nice dinner out at Grondike Lodge.
So soft kickoff for the campaign this year.
John Grondike allows us to come into his lodge and utilize their lodge, and we have a great dinner, great meal, and then we talk about all the things that the investments that people have made into United Way this past year, what we've accomplished, what the return on the investment is.
Right, that's important.
It is, and then we talk about the next steps, what we're going to be doing this year. And of course, you and Leslie will be talking to everyone there about the campaign and some of
And
the
you
things.
said that on film too, so she's going to see that, and then I'm going to get in trouble.
Okay.
Because she's going to have to talk in front of people.
Leslie is going to be right
So,
next to you.
she'll be right next to
She's
me.
going to be one of your major supporters. So.
She'll be sweating bullets wondering what I'm going to say.
She's going to be doing great. Anyway, I really appreciate you, Joey, and Leslie for stepping up and helping us out. Your family has been a part of United Way for decades. I mean,
My grandpa
your
was telling
father,
me
your
stories the other
grandpa,
day
yeah.
when he was the campaign chairman and he was the president. So,
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we've got a picture of him.
Oh, really?
When
gonna
they
need to
used to
throw that
have
up.
the thermometer,
Yes.
the goal
Yeah.
on how far they'd reached, of a picture of him on the courthouse lawn
With that?
with that.
Is that right?
And I remember that like, yeah, I
Well,
know where it is.
Maybe, what we need to do.
I'll have to
is
resurrect that.
Yeah, and then we need to get one with you on a thermometer with the courthouse lawn.
Oh, that'd be kind of
so
a nice
we've got your
throwback.
grandfather and you
Yeah,
on
his
it,
was
yeah.
back in the 70s, so
Yeah.
I'll have to find some shades and grow out the sideburns.
Well, anything else that you want to cover that we haven't covered?
Other than this is such an important campaign this year. It's been tough last year and the year
Yeah,
before.
it's
It's been
hard
tough.
to get there, but we got
and
there.
We got there, and we're going to get there this year. But we need everybody's help, and we're going to do our best to organize and expand outside the community to see what we can do to make those other communities feel welcome, more welcome to Enid, more welcome to the United Way.
Yeah, do a better job maybe connecting with them. So, yeah. Well, thank you, Joey. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you, and stay tuned for another edition of Community Talk. We hope that you'll join us with all the different events that we have coming up throughout this year and support the United Way. You can always reach us at unitedwayenid.org, or you can always call us at 580-237-0821 and be a part of Living United in our community. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Janet Jones with Gaslight Theater. Gaslight is located at 221 North Independence. Check us out on Facebook or our website, gaslighttheater.org. Our box office is open from 2 to 5:30 Tuesday through Friday. I'm directing Gaslight Kids Drama Camp. Check us out on Community Talk.
I am Lori Lori Waken, and I'm coming to you today with Bob Osborne, coming again to talk about an event that is being hosted coming up at the CNB Center, partnership with RSVP, Grace Care, Personal Care and In-Home Services, St. Mary's, Sheffy Prescription Shops, The Commons, and others. Bob, we'll jump right in. Tell us about this event. What's coming up for us?
Well, you know, I'm really excited about this event because I know, Lori, we all get that phone call. What do we do? Mom's had a fall. This is going on. Is she losing her memory, or is this Alzheimer's? So this is an educational event for the community so that we can answer those questions beforehand. Why wait till you have an emergency when you can come to this event, get some education, and go from there? And it's going to be an exciting event. It is June 22nd, 9 to 3. Come early. We're going to have some door prizes. We're going to have a Navigating Medicare, Medicaid. You know, I turned 65 recently, and I learned there's some pretty hefty penalties if you don't sign up at the right time and things like that. So we'll educate people on that. Know the 10 signs of aging versus Alzheimer's. We've got somebody coming from the Alzheimer's Association to talk about that. Avoiding the loss of control of your financial future. You know, that's the one that I know we hear a lot about, is people are concerned about finances as they grow older.
That's a biggie, yes.
We got Clint Claypole coming to talk about that. Real excited about Chaplain Chris Finney from the Oklahoma Baptist Village coming. He's been there for 19 years.
Right.
He's got a wealth of information he's going to share about when is it time to make that move. Mental health issues facing seniors. We've got somebody coming from the Oklahoma Mental Health and Aging Coalition to talk about that. And the panel, and I'll let you tell a little bit about the panel.
I will tell about the panel. Let's kind of work through here. You've kind of went down through the list, and I had several things pop into my mind that were relevant, and questions as well. Navigating Medicare and Medicaid. I know a lot of folks get a little bit confused about those issues. How does it work? How do you get signed up? What do you have to do every year to keep up with it?
Which part pays for which?
Exactly. Which part pays for which? I know I'm in long-term care, and a lot of times folks will call expecting that their Medicare is going to pay or help to pay for their assisted living or their long-term care. They've got a lot of questions and a lot of misunderstanding about how that works. How to transition to Medicaid. When you get to the point in your life, if it happens, where you've kind of spent down all of your assets and are starting to panic a little bit, how am I going to be cared for? What if I'm married? What if my spouse needs care and I still need to live after, you know, he or she needs to go into long-term care? How does Medicare or Medicaid assist me with that? And the folks coming, I understand, to talk about that topic are going to have answers to a lot of those and other questions about Medicare and Medicaid.
And then we've got know the 10 signs of Alzheimer's versus just natural aging process. You know, there's a huge difference. And so come and get your questions answered, you know. Like I said last time, I think it's not whether you can't find your car keys, it's when you find your car keys and you don't know what to do with them.
Exactly. Even going into the middle part, you know, of our life journey, you start to recognize that you're maybe not quite as sharp as you used to be. I know I do. And there's always that little lingering thing in the back of your mind, you know, could this be something bigger than just goofiness or forgetfulness? And so how do you know if you yourself or you have a parent or loved one who you're starting to become a little bit of have some concern because of some of their forgetfulness, some of their habits, things like that? How do you know when to start being concerned that this might be a little bit more than just being distracted or overwhelmed or stressed? And what do you do and where do you go to get more answers? So very relevant topic.
And then avoiding the loss of control of your financial future. That's a big concern of all of us, I believe. And so what's some legal aspects, some planning, financial planning, some estate planning that maybe you want to put into place now before you know, that disaster happens or that unexpected health event happens? What could you do now to prevent the loss of your financial future?
Absolutely. We all work really, really hard to put away that little nest egg to provide for our needs now and maybe have a little set aside for later. And how can we best make sure that we're handling that wisely and properly? I'm assuming some information about maybe setting up trusts. What's the difference between a trust and a will?
An estate? What's
exactly, estates, and how to protect those assets as you get older and look toward the future.
And we know that mental health issues are a huge thing for seniors. You know, one of the ones that's been identified lately is isolation. So we're going to learn about some of those things, what you can do to prevent maybe some of those mental health issues, and how you can treat them if you do have something going on in your family or with a loved one that you're caring for.
Exactly. A lot of folks don't realize isolation, as an example that you provided, the different ways that just being isolated and not having regular contact with other people on an ongoing basis can really start to affect not only your mental and emotional health, but that depression or a little bit of having the blues maybe will kind of lead you to maybe not pursue the appropriate nutritional needs that your body has, or the physical needs. Maybe you start to get a little depressed and not take your medications properly. And so somebody who is maybe seeming to not be in the best of health or to be struggling in some of these areas, maybe something that would be a huge help would be just to get them some social interaction. Right. Excellent topic.
And you know, one of the things I want to stress is this is not going to be a boring event. We're doing everything we can to make sure that this, even though it's a very serious topic, we're going to have some fun that day. We're going to have some prize drawings, gift baskets, some entertainment. We're going to make it a fun day. So
right. Not just a dry lecture, not just folks getting up there blah, 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 talking at us and presenting facts, but having some interaction, having a lot of audience participation. That kind of brings us, you mentioned the round table or the healthcare panel. And we're putting together a series of leaders in certain fields. We've got a leader from long-term care, from assisted living, from home health care, from home care, and I know there's a lot of confusion about what is the difference between home health care and private duty home care. How does that work? How is it paid for?
Hospice?
Yes, hospice is coming as well, independent living. And so these leaders will be available to share a little bit about what they do and then take questions from the audience and help to direct to some resources that might be helpful to families.
A lot of people equate hospice with just dying. Oh, I don't want to call hospice, that means we're giving up or anything like that, but it's really not. Hospice is there to offer comfort, and they're one of the greatest programs out there available.
Exactly, it's a quality of life thing.
That's going to be a real exciting thing. You do get lunch. The event costs $10 in advance. We encourage you to get your tickets early because it could sell out. So it's $10 in advance. You can get them at Sheffy's prescription shops. You can get them at RSVP. You can get them at the CNB Center, and you can also get them online with the CNB Center. So you can go online and buy them there. You do get a baked potato and salad bar, and it's just going to be fun, you know. I think, and educational. That's
and
what
you
I
mentioned entertainment. You said there's going to be some entertainment there?
We're going to have some surprise entertainment, so you want to be there and get in on that. I do encourage people to come early. There's going to be booths.
Informational resource booths.
Lots of informational booths. Where maybe medical equipment, maybe you have questions about how that works. There'll be somebody there to address that. There'll be insurance services that may be long-term care insurance. You got a question about how that works. It's really going to be a great day with tons of information. And, you know, where else can you go and have all this education, get all this information that's hopefully going to prevent some stress in your life.
Right.
That's the whole thing. And learn about all these services that are available here in Enid to make you able to age with grace.
Wonderful.
You know, that's the name of the conference, and that's what we want to help people do.
Aging with grace. I love that. And we're all aging, hopefully, with grace, no matter how old we are, aren't we?
Somebody said, who's this for? And well, it's for anybody that's aging.
That's right. And so that brings up the question, who would you say would be some ideal examples of folks who could benefit from attending this conference?
Ideally, I believe that if you've got an elderly parent, and maybe they're fine and they're healthy right now and they're doing great in their home, but the thought has crossed your mind, what if? What if? Well, get those questions answered now. Don't wait till something happens and then you're making that emergency phone call and you don't even know where to call. And so you're calling this place and that place trying to say, what do I do about this? What do I do about that? Why not go to a one-day conference, get a lot of information that will better equip you to take care of your parents.
Right. Get a little head start, provide some foundation. And you mentioned earlier in our conversation that we've all gotten that phone call. And what I think you're referring to are those phone calls that you get from a distressed, maybe adult child or neighbor even of someone, a senior, someone in their later years who all of a sudden is maybe at a very deeply concerning or critical point for some reason. And something needs to be done right away, and you feel a sense of responsibility for that person but don't know where to turn. This will give you just some pointers, some insights, some suggestions of some resources and some folks who can help in those kinds of situations.
Because what we see with those calls is that, first of all, they don't know who to call, they don't know where to call, and they really don't know how the system works, you know, what's best for this person. And you know, we all want the best for our seniors. We love our seniors. It's the greatest generation. We want to see them age with grace. We want them to stay in their home if that's the proper place for them. If not, we want to find a place that they can gracefully move forward and live to the maximum possibility, maximum fullness of life until the very end.
It's a quality of life thing, helping folks to maintain their dignity, their identity, their sense of meaning and purpose, and to help families to be able to be families and loved ones of these folks rather than having to carry the entire burden of being a caregiver alone. So
I just want to mention again that is June 22nd, 9 to 3:30 at the CNB Center, downtown Enid, Oklahoma. We'll have door prizes. We got lunch. It's $10 in advance, $15 at the door. Real briefly, you can get your tickets at Grace Care, either Sheffy's Prescription Shops, the Commons. Just let us know, CNB Center, online, you can get those tickets, and we'd really love to see you there.
there's a contact number at the end of this announcement with the number that you can call with questions. Feel free to pick up the phone, give us a call. We'd love to help you out.
And I do want to say this is put on by RSVP, Retired Senior Volunteer Program here in Enid. They do millions of hours of free services. They do Meals on Wheels. There's so many transportation, so many services that they offer. And this is just one more service they wanted to offer to the community. And we are super excited to be able to partner with them to bring this to the Enid community.
Great. Okay, we'll see you there. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
I'm Julie Nelson with Hospice Circle of Love. We're a not-for-profit organization that helps terminally ill patients and their families, and we're at 314 South 3rd. Our website is hospicecircleoflove.com. Be watching for us on upcoming segments of Community Talk.
Well, welcome back to Community Talk. My name is Demetrius Office, and I am joined in the studio right now with none other than Court Pierce. And we're so excited to come back to you and talk about some of the things that's happening in the Salvation Army that you might find as interesting as I find it. I'm especially as happy to be in the studio with someone that I want to introduce you to, and I want you guys to really get to know this individual because he's going to make a world of difference in our Salvation Army. So, Court, what's up, my friend?
First of all, man, the introduction's too strong. You know what I'm saying? I try to be pretty humble. I hope to make that kind of impact in our community.
Yeah.
But, it's great to be here.
Yeah,
I'm glad to be here today.
I'm glad you're here. So I'll just spend a little bit of time and tell the audience about yourself. Who are you?
Well, I have changed over the years and metamorphosized from one person to another.
Okay.
So, I mean, would you want me to tell you who I have been?
I want you to go as deep as your heart's desire is to go.
Let's kind of start where I started at, shortly after high school. Normal childhood. Grew up with a great family from here in Enid.
Okay.
And, loved to be around them. They were great influences on me. But after high school, life changed for me a little bit. College was a struggle. Sure. Honestly, I like to go to the deepest part anytime I'm describing my story, Yes. And the thing that sticks out the most, that most people would
hopefully be able to identify with or understand is addiction. And that started just shortly after high school. I struggled with it for years.
Okay.
And so I spent 15 years approximately in the oil field, trying to make a name for myself as a young, upcoming downhole pump technician. And I did make a name for myself, but through that time, I also made a name for myself with other things. And they weren't positive things. You know, again, like I said, I struggled with addiction, and that went for a number of years. And I got married. I got divorced. I had a wonderful son, and for that matter, I really enjoy the co-parenting situation that I'm in. We get along great, and that's a super part of my life. That little boy is such a joy.
That's awesome. What's your son's name?
His name is Cason. I call him Case.
Case.
So he's Case Court Pierce.
Okay.
Yep.
You know, you talk about, going into the oil field and this whole opioid crisis that's happening in the oil field. So we can know how that, we understand how that temptation could just feed into some negative, situations there.
It certainly does.
Yeah. And so, you come out of that and you found the Salvation Army, and then what?
There was light on the other side of the tunnel. When I had enough, one day God reached into my heart or grabbed me by the back of the shirt. I'm not really sure which one, and said, this is not where you need to be. This is not what's for you, and this is not who you are.
Now help me, remind me, were you one of our beneficiaries of the Salvation Army?
I certainly was. I went from living in my car to living at a lake, which living in my car was probably a little better. And finally, I was talked into it by my wonderful girlfriend. She said, "Let's go to the Salvation Army. It's a center for hope and healing." And she had to talk me into it. I had no prior business or knowledge of the Salvation Army. And so that's what we did. And I became a beneficiary of the program, and I was a resident.
Court and I, we just got back from a men's camp in the Salvation Army. This was Court's first time going to this men's camp, and it was my second time. And on the way back, we started to talk about fishing. So when you talk about living at the lake and your love for fishing.
Oh, it sounds like a dream. But it was August. So, it was nice, but it wasn't a camping experience. It wasn't a social experiment. It had where my life had gotten to at that point. It's certainly not what you wish on anybody, but without experiences like those, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Right. Now, when we talk about the Salvation Army and how we have so many programs out there and so many ways that we service our community, you just took a new position in the Salvation Army. So you went from a beneficiary to now where are you at?
I transitioned over the course of a year from a beneficiary and a shelter resident at the Salvation Army to a volunteer doing community service hours, to a employee, now to our thrift store management position. So the Salvation Army Family Thrift Store, I'm the general manager there. And I also assume a lot of other responsibilities, at our core in Enid.
So let's talk about the thrift store. This is, a lot of people, when, 10 years ago, it was just the Salvation Army thrift store, and then some other thrift stores came in, and now we're off that beaten path from other thrift stores.
That's right.
Just kind of give me some perspective and give me some vision as a general manager, what you look to do.
Well, we without doubt have some competition, and that doesn't mean it's not a healthy thing, because it certainly is. The Salvation Army thrift store is a time-honored thrift store, though. It's been in Enid for years and years. In fact, at one time, there were multiple locations.
Wow.
I would love to get back to that. My vision for the Salvation Army thrift store, and if anybody doesn't know, the money raised from the thrift store goes directly to the ministry to help feed the homeless, to help house the homeless. And so the items that come in as donations have already served a purpose one time in their life, and somebody got to enjoy them, and then they've served a dual purpose by being donated, and then a purpose once again by somebody being able to buy those items at a discounted price, and it's just the life expectancy of any given item, be it a shoe or be it a pair of jeans, people don't realize what recycling means in some instances. It doesn't just mean putting stuff inside a green box out at the curb. When you recycle clothing, when you donate it to a thrift store, it serves another purpose, and it puts a nice uniform on a man trying to go to a job interview.
Absolutely.
Or it clothes kids that are cold in the winter for an extremely reduced price, and it's you couldn't ask for better.
Now, you bring up a really good point there, because some of our beneficiaries, they come in our shelter. We feed 365 days a year, and then they, if they need, lodging, we house them.
We house them.
So if a person is coming in with absolutely nothing, and we're trying to get them acclimated back into the workforce to, do better for themselves, is there a part of the thrift store where we clothe them and give them business attire?
Absolutely is. We have a voucher system, and it goes through our administration office.
Okay.
When somebody comes in and they don't have anything and they need clothing immediately,
okay,
the first thing we do is meet those ultimate important needs at the time they are needed.
Okay.
Not when it's convenient, but right then and there.
Okay.
So we get the clothes that they need on their back. We get shoes on their feet. And then we go through the process through our administration office, and we issue a clothing voucher.
Okay.
They get to come to the thrift store and basically get an entire week's wardrobe without costing a penny out of their pocket.
Okay. So. Now, we just passed Memorial Day, and we had a sale there. Can you explain what we did in that sale?
We had a tremendous sale, and I marked every item. It wasn't just me, actually, it was nationwide.
Yeah.
It wasn't my idea, as much as I like to take credit for it. It was a nationwide Salvation Army thrift store sale of 50% off any and every item in the store.
Okay.
We had a remarkable sale, possibly record-setting numbers for us, which is just outstanding because we can do that much more good.
Yes.
But we're going to have more sales like that.
Sure.
We had one for Memorial Day. We're planning one on the 3rd of July for Independence Day.
Okay.
And then we're going to have another one for the Labor Day weekend.
Absolutely.
So, those sales offer the community a tremendous opportunity to come in and get discounted items.
Court, that's what I love about you, is that that you see this possibility, you see this opportunity, you see this opportunity to just push the shield, the mission of the Salvation Army out there. And what you've done is you've organically built a platform to give. So talk to me about this platform, your ideas coming forward, with this thrift store. You reorganized the whole thrift store, so it's complementary to the shopper that comes in. Talk to us about that.
It's very conducive to the person coming in the doors. I try to put some, some easygoing household items at the front of the store. There's some things that people might not know we have, like vacuum cleaners.
Yes.
Bicycles. These things that can really make a difference. Even if it's a small difference, it can make a transforming difference in someone's life, like a bicycle.
Absolutely.
And when you can come and get one for $5 at times, that's just that changes their means of transportation, which changes the way they live, cutting down their time to and from, or making it possible for them to go to work when they couldn't before walk there.
Right.
If I just described my ideas, it would be a mile high.
I walked in a thrift store at one point, and I was just looking at the layout and just there to take everything in. And I went to the books because I just love books, the bookshelves, and I found a corporate finance book there that was marked down for like $5 there. And these books is like $150 to $200 in college if a college student is buying that. So it's like you'd be surprised at what you can find in there.
Our standard book price for a hardback book is 50 cents.
Oh,
and for a paperback book is 15 cents.
Wow.
And so on any given day, you can get up to a 20% discount on top of that. So, when you're talking about buying a book for approximately, 12 cents, that can without doubt add hours of entertainment to your life for nothing.
Absolutely.
No money whatsoever.
I love you, my friend. I know that we're going to have some amazing accomplishments in our thrift store, and I think we have like the best talent in the world to lead us in this effort, not just to increase profitability in our thrift store, but to show the community, share with the community what is available for them at their just more resources at their disposal.
sometimes it's as simple as praying with a customer at the front counter, you know, and sometimes that's what it takes and that's what they need. Sometimes that's what I need, you know, and so our motto of doing the most good doesn't mean doing some good most of the time or doing the best we can part of the time. It means doing the most good all of the time.
Yes.
And that is what we're trying to live up to. And, you know, it's not just that talent at the top, man. Our talent runs all the way. Every employee in that thrift store is a godsend to me. You know, it's not a job you're going to get rich at. But it's a job that you will not stop enjoying the opportunity to give and to help.
So with that, you know, I want to give you the floor. You know, I want you to just give our audience out here that's looking at you, that's trying to understand your purpose, your mission, you know, your why. Just give them your heart right now. Just tell them what to expect from Court.
You know, what you can expect if you meet me is to meet a genuine personality first and foremost. Many times throughout my life, I've been pointed at as a car salesman because I sound like one. But at the end of the day, you know, I have a large stature and a deep voice, and I use those to my advantage so people can hear them, and to God's advantage so people can hear that message. You know, the message was brought to me organically. It was given to me as the ultimate gift. It's pulled me out of such deep, dark places, and only because of other people sharing their message with me, you know, of hope, of freedom from addiction. Man, that's, to me, that's so important. If, you know, you want to hear my heart, the message is there is hope to move forward with your life, you know? And anybody can come see me anytime for any reason. If they're hungry, if they're tired, if they're thirsty, if they need clothes. And I will do the most good I'm capable of at that time, along with the staff and all of our employment at the Salvation Army. Everybody loves people.
Amen. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of our team at the Salvation Army. Guys, that wraps up our edition of Community Talk. I am the chairman of our board of advisors for the Salvation Army. I want to encourage you to come by our thrift store, meet this guy in person, shake his hand, give him a big hug, hear his stories,
get a good deal,
and get a good deal. And 82 cents on the dollar of everything that we collect in our ministries goes right back towards, you know, bettering our community. So thank you for tuning in to this Community Talk.
See you soon.
Hi, I'm Brenda Bingham, Blue Star Mother President, Chapter 11, Enid, Oklahoma. We are a 501c3. We send care packages to our troops, and we take donations, and we're at the Oakwood Mall between the Cookie Company and Dillard's. Stop by, say hi, or drop off a donation. We appreciate all that you do. Thank you, and come watch us on Community Talk.